right, we're gonna start now.
It's cat, right?
Yeah. Meow.
Like meow. I fucking love it. I love cats. Apparently that extends to humans too. Because Cat and I are really getting along.
Yeah.
The Jay and Kaskian podcast, episode number 30.
Oh shit, we hit the 3-0.
Oh my god, wait, is this the golden episode because I'm 30?
Oh hey,
Yeah.
Congratulations, yo.
Fantastic.
Turkey.
All right.
All right.
Gotcha.
All right, okay.
Yeah.
So
We're rolling.
we're rolling, and we should get onto a topic that we were planning on. So, Kat, you've had an incredible journey from what I've heard, and I was wondering if you would be willing to share some of that stuff, because I've got some interesting, or what I think are interesting questions for you that might help someone in a similar position.
Yeah, I don't know like which zone we want to start in. Is there stuff that you like? I know you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I was checking that out, and that's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Super awesome. You have a lot of really good stuff on there.
Thank you.
I haven't checked it out, but it looks very impressive.
Well, this is rude. I have to go.
I'm really good at doing my research, guys.
I mean, there's just a lot of like, woo and yay and whoo, I'm dying.
You know
so
what?
I kind of don't want to tell you what it's about. So.
Now I'm really curious. Is she out there like fighting demons or something? Like, oh, now I'm dying.
I mean, we were just talking about,
Oh, yeah.
supernatural.
You're
so.
actually, it's a YouTube channel about fighting Bill Gates in his lizard form. No, it's a fitness thing. It's a fitness thing, and your journey has been pretty incredible. I guess maybe I should have checked beforehand, but would you be willing to talk about like some of the struggles you had and what led you into this space of like constant exuberant energy and fitness fanatic?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Should I just start like right now?
Yeah, wherever you want. If you want, I can jump in and ask more questions.
September 27th, I was born. No, I'm just kidding.
Get the full detailed story. I like it.
Charging through. Okay.
Whoa.
So about, what was it? I was 19 at the time, and I got super into fitness. I was in college, and I got a little bit too into fitness to the point where I was dangerous about it, where I was over exercising because I wanted to lose a lot of weight, and I was in a dark times, guys, in a crummy relationship. My parents were getting separated. I hated college. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I literally for college, my sisters went to UWM, so I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to do any research. I'll just go there too. Yeah, me too. So I just went there, yeah. And it was great, just to say. But yeah, I developed anorexia where I wouldn't eat and I would over-exercise. And it was pretty much just the mental aspect of beating myself up and just hating on my body the whole time. So I went through that for 7 years, ups and downs and stuff, and times of thinking, oh, I'm recovering, this is great, I'm gaining a little bit of weight, even though at the same time you're like, I hate myself, I can't believe I'm gaining weight. So it's such a battle of yourself of being like, I'm healthy, I'm not healthy, I hate being healthy, but I want to be unhealthy. It's so weird.
Yeah.
And then after that, I developed binge eating disorder because, when you're so into restricting yourself, and a lot of people who have gone through like fad diets and stuff can relate to this as well, where you just go crazy on food. When it's available, you're like, I'm just going to eat all of it. And you're on autopilot. And it's the craziest thing to be in that state where you can't control yourself. You're not even tasting the food, but you're like, I need more. I need more. I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to not stop.
Yeah.
And then I would just find myself like on the floor crying and calling my best friend being like, I don't know why I'm doing this. I don't know why. And he's one of those people that is like, he doesn't care about food. Like, he'll literally eat a raw block of tofu and be fine and be like, I'm so satisfied right now. I am at peace with myself. I'm like, wow, you're very strange. And I love it. But he's like, I can't relate to you. I don't know what you're going through, but I'm here for you kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, that was a time. So after that, it's a lot of ups and downs of a roller coaster of being like, I'm doing good. How do I recover? I've read so many books. I watched so many YouTube videos on how to recover. And it wasn't until I really started working on, I know it sounds corny, but the self-love kind of portion of it.
Yeah.
And really finding peace with my body and for just like loving it for all that it can do rather than what it looks like.
Yeah, for sure.
And making those performance goals instead of the weight goals.
Right, like the physical aspect, more so functionality and
Yep.
what you can actually accomplish and
Yeah.
do. Yeah, that's That's pretty crazy. I've never obviously dealt with anything like that before. Eating what? Maybe. I have a bad habit of overeating bad food. So
And then just not eating for like 36 hours.
Oh my God.
So yeah, you've got a little bit of that.
but it has nothing to do with like personal, like how I look or anything. It's more so like I just don't feel like eating.
See,
Yeah.
I definitely I can relate to your journey. I've always struggled. I had somehow it's ingrained in my brain that like if I work out like 4 to 7 days a week and it doesn't really matter, like you're gonna get the body you want. But my problem is that I haven't committed to like eating enough or eating the wrong things, and it just doesn't really like. I would get so upset with myself, and then I'd just be spinning myself into a hole where I'm suddenly not working out even like 3 days a week. And yeah, the same experience. I got out through self-love, like looking at myself and being like, you know what? This healthy body can do stuff. It's feeling all right. Like, look at me. I can bend my arms. I can wiggle my fucking toes. I'm alive and I'm grateful. And between like gratitude and just like a little bit of self-love, no matter how corny it sounds, like how stupid is it that our society has made self-love sound corny or like
Right.
cheesy? It's like the most crucial step for us to fucking function in society. And they're like, you know what that is? Corny.
Yeah, that's cool.
Lame.
You special snowflake. You need some self-love. What, bath bombs and everything? Like, no, that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
It's not the bath bombs. it's the mental work.
It's a little bit of bath bombs.
But a little bit as well, yes.
Just a little bit.
As
Maybe
long
some
as it's
of
glitter.
salt.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, no, the self-love thing is actually really interesting to me because I'm kind of in the zone where I am focusing on that now too. Because I haven't really, for a majority of my life, I haven't really like loved myself in the way that I feel like that would I guess cultivate the best version of myself, let's say. Like I've let myself fall back and down in so many different ways, like that have functionally like handicapped me basically for a long time in the way that I wanted to function in the world and with people and friendships and relationships and stuff. And I'm trying to cultivate that self-love thing now, like really focusing on the things that are going to make me good and that are going to make me better and not having, I guess, I don't know, expectations outside of myself that are going to make me happy, like looking internal again. So I understand that that process, and it's a hell of a process to try and figure out when you're just getting into it. It's like I don't know, I've never really done this before.
Yeah.
I've never really just focused on me.
Yeah.
I've never really done that before.
Yeah, you feel like you're doing something wrong because
Yeah.
you're like, oh wait, I have to be selfish. Like, oh, this is weird. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to. Is this okay? I can concentrate on me.
but it's like the thing is when you're not doing it, like it's not necessarily that I would focus like on other people. It was almost like I would have expectations of other people to fulfill the things that I wasn't fulfilling in myself, and that would always pressure other people around me, to hold this certain place. So it was like my lack of self-love was also injuring people outside of myself. So it was like it's this weird, it's almost counterintuitive in a way. It's like by being selfish, like then you become better, like for yourself and people around you at the same time.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's an interesting process to figure out.
It is.
I think it's that like cup half full, half empty, fill your own cup sort of stuff. Like you
Yeah.
come across a bunch of like, let's say you got 3 friends and they're all like, they're full in their cups. They're all self-love and they're like able to do their thing. And you come over and your cup's fucking empty.
Yeah.
Naturally, they're going to be like, they're all just going to pour a little bit of themselves into you in order for you to survive. But you got a fucking hole in your cup.
Yeah.
You got to fix that hole, and then you got to start filling your cup with other stuff so that when
Yeah.
you come around those people, everybody doesn't have to like into your cup. That's how I imagine. It's kind of like a big bird into a baby bird. You're just like,
Oh Jesus.
hey, I'm just living my life here.
That's a really good visual.
Thank you. Thank
That's
you.
really good. Yeah, I like that.
I kind of wanted to swing back because I think folks like you are really interesting who have gone through like like multiple, what we'll call it, just eating disorders, but really that crazy, tumultuous, spirally hole that consumes so many of us. And I mean, if you stay in it for so many years of your life, suddenly that's your identity and everything. And I think so many people are looking for a way to get out of those spirals, and they just can't find it. So I'm really curious if we can figure out like a roadmap for anybody who, because I think there's so many different archetypes of humans in each one. I'm sort of subscribing to that. There's 96 different types of humans, each one with their own personalities, and each one has a very specific way of how they have to get through stuff, and they can take elements from other people, but ultimately their archetype is their archetype. I don't know where all that came from. I might have just made that shit up.
Pulled from butt.
It felt not like I was.
It's okay. He does that frequently. It's all right.
Whatcha? It's all shiny and new. Wait.
You had cookies this morning.
Oh God, we're remembering.
Archetypes.
Archetypes. Yes. And
Dinosaurs.
I want to be able to get your roadmap out there of how you are able to adjust yourself out of this pattern that, I mean, I know everybody has felt it in one way or another. Like when you get into one of those unhealthy situations, it feels like you're just, every day you're carving that path a little bit deeper. And it's like, it doesn't matter if you want to go up, you're still carving it because you just, until you have the tools to like get yourself out. So for your situation of like dealing with self-love and trying to encompass more of that into your life, is there anything that really sticks out to you that really helped you, or what was your process like?
Oh man, yeah, it was a big process, but one thing that really helped me was realizing that every day, every second is new, and you are the creator of your whole journey, of your canvas, of everything like that.
Love it.
And you can recreate your identity at any point in your life. It doesn't matter how deep you are into it.
Yeah.
So as soon as you start saying like, I'm a binge eater, it's like, okay, you've programmed your mind, you've programmed your path, you've programmed your day to be a binge eater. But if you say like, no, I'm a strong person, I'm enough right now, I am a healthy eater, then all of a sudden your brain's like, oh, that's right, I am. Oh, that's so weird. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you form your choices towards that identity that you've created for yourself. So that is something that has definitely helped me a lot. And then just like making it a goal to be better and to recover. I made a goal, like one of my silly goals was to be able to go to a restaurant and order whatever I wanted. And I know it sounds like really like minimal and stuff, but you know, I would always be the girl that ordered the salad or like the little thing. So I ordered waffles and I'm like, oh my God, like this is freedom.
Right.
This is crazy. So it's like you're reforming your identity of being able to eat free, and then you're no longer restricting yourself.
Yeah.
And you free up your ability to make your own choices and to realize that you are strong enough to be able to stop eating when you're full and to feel those hunger signals again. Because when you're in an eating disorder, you can't really feel your hunger or your fullness anymore. It's like once you feel hungry, you're like, no, and you push it aside, which is like strangely helped me in working out. Cause like whenever I feel like that like pain, I'm like, oh no, it's just a feeling. So it's like, even when I was going through my eating disorder, it's like, no, this hunger is just a feeling. So now when I kind of used it in my workouts, and I'm like, no, this pain is just a feeling and I can push through.
Okay.
So I try to take the positives of all the struggles that I've gone through. And
Right.
stuff, so.
That was actually similar to my quitting like smoking cigarettes because it's been probably like 2 or 3 years now since I was like a full-time smoker for over 10 years. Like smoked like almost a pack a day, probably.
Yeah, I forget that sometimes.
Every other day for probably over 10 years. And I hit a point where, like, obviously I moved over to like the vaping thing, and that has helped a bit. It's not the same as cigarettes, like even close, but the way that I started like training my mind to I started telling myself, no, I'm not trying to quit smoking. I'm just not a smoker anymore.
Yeah.
Like there's a big difference between trying to resist doing something and saying, I'm just not that person anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you make it a part of your identity, like rather than trying to resist doing something.
Yep.
So that made a really big difference for me in going back and forth between, smoking cigarettes. So that makes sense with the, something similar.
Yeah.
A similar habit.
Awesome connection. Yeah. Because I had a similar experience. And I know I vape more often, but sometimes I go through spats where I just pick up the cigarettes again. But for some reason, it never feels hard for me to just not do it anymore. Like if someone's like, "Hey,"
you have this weird thing about your personality, man. He can literally go like 2 weeks and smoke cigarettes and just be like, "Yeah, I don't feel like it anymore."
Oh man.
Like it'll happen weird too. I'll be like halfway.
How do you do that?
I'll be halfway
Took
through
me
a
10
pack,
years to quit.
like smoking a cigarette. I still have like 10 cigarettes left, and I just look at my cigarette and I'm like, done, and I throw my pack away, and I'm just done. And then like a couple months later, it'll be like, I smell the air, the sun hits me right, and I'm like, I want a cigarette. And I just pick up a pack and I start smoking again for like a week or two. But it's because after I left Colorado, I disidentified. I'm not a smoker. Sometimes I enjoy having some cigarettes, and I'm okay with that. But I'm never going to be a smoker again. And it's so interesting that like all of those things are about like an identity connection, like a conscious decision of like, no, I am not this depressed person. I am not this smoker. I am not this hurt and damaged person. I am not identifying. I am someone who battles this thing and am getting better and am winning.
Yeah.
And it's like once we all made those decisions, it's suddenly like it's still hard. You still have those moments where things come up, but you can look at them. And as long as you say like, I see you, but you're not the identifying factor here. I am, and you're just an issue that I'm moving past, or you're here to teach me or whatever. Suddenly you can just be someone else and like be free of it. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you both for sharing those stories. That's good stuff.
You're welcome. No problem.
But it's even like the same thing with like anxiety and stuff. A lot of people are like, oh, I am an anxious person and stuff. And I'm like, no, you're a person who is in this moment has anxiety, and everyone has anxiety. And I think that's what there's a South Park episode that actually talks about this. And they're like,
with Tweak.
Like, everyone has anxiety. And I'm like, thank you for finally saying that, because a lot of people are like, no, I'm just an anxious person. It's like, no, like you just need the tools in order to tame the beast in your mind that says that you are anxious right now.
Yeah.
So it really is just finding those tools that work for you. And everyone has different tools that works for them. Yeah. And at different times in their life, because we all go through seasons and stuff. So it's like finding out which tool works for the season that you're in at that time.
Yeah, for sure. I'm very clear on feeling that, because I have a whole bag of tools now that I get to use in the stuff that I'm doing, and it's intense. Like self-change is very intense. Because I've recognized so many bad habits in myself, and so many like selfish tendencies and things that have been unhealthy for a really long time. Yeah. And when you start going through that process of figuring out like, why have the things been going wrong in my life that have been going wrong, and how do I have to look internally to find those? Like, what have I been doing? How have I been contributing to this? Because obviously something's not right.
Yes.
I'm not getting the results that I want in the areas of my life that I'm getting, and I cannot blame it on outside factors anymore.
Yes.
It's something to do with the way that I'm approaching life. It's something to do with the way that I'm approaching my relationships or friendships or like anything.
Yeah.
And like waking up to that is an interesting, very difficult, scary process, because
it's hard.
You start getting filled with all of this guilt and all of this shame, and like, oh man, I can't believe that I am how I am, or that I've been how I've been. And it's hard to move past that. But as you start making like those little changes piece by piece, you start to see like, okay, like I can be better, I can be a better person. I can do this.
Yes.
And the process of forgiving yourself, for mistakes that you've made and stuff is super important.
Yeah. It's going through your shadow works.
Yeah.
And like diving deep and being like, why am I the way I am? And like, how can I move past this, even though this person like made a pass down a trait to me. Yeah. It's like, that doesn't mean that I need to keep it. Like you can always reform. Like I have some traits from like my dad, who's like a very anxious person and stuff. But it's like, no, I don't need, just because I'm related to him and it's blood and everything, it doesn't mean I have to keep on to this. I can move on from it. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. It's It's a hell of a process. It's like realizing your own fucked upness. Yeah. Like where
that's a good book name.
We're realizing your own fucked upness.
I like that. You should definitely write that.
Yeah. Not a bad idea. But it's crazy. It's life is nuts. I guess we'll say
Nuckin'
that.
futs. I wanted to shift gears again because your YouTube channel is successful. Like you're probably the most successful YouTuber I've met in person.
Oh,
believe it or
cool.
not. So yeah, props to you.
Thanks.
I was curious, like, after going through all of your stuff, like, when did the YouTube stuff come up? I know like nothing about your channel. I'm sorry.
No,
After this,
don't
I'm going to
worry.
research it because I like your personality. I like your videos, but I want to know, like, at what point did you shift into, like, you know what, people need me on the YouTube to help them with the fitness stuff and the journey?
It's a good idea. How did that start?
They did. The world needs you. Rise up. But
God, yeah, I started like 6 years ago and actually started as
you started pretty freaking early in the YouTube world. Damn.
I guess like it didn't feel like it at the time. I was like, oh, I'm so late in the game and stuff. And it didn't initially. I didn't think I was going to continue with it. I created a video because there is this fitness channel called Body Rock, and I had been doing their videos, and I'm like, they're so cool. Like, I want to be a trainer on there. Yeah. And so I emailed them, and I'm like, hey, do you need another trainer? They're like, we're always looking for fresh faces, and I'm like, that's great. So they asked
look how fresh my face is.
Yeah, look, it's so nice. Oh my
fresh
god,
and so clean.
I moisturize every day. Like, yeah. But then they're like, do you have any videos online? And I'm like, no, but I'll make one. So literally,
Give me a minute.
Hold your horses. I'll make one. So my first video was actually an audition for them, and I'm very awkward. And I sent it to them. They never got back. Emailed them again, being like, "Hey, just fresh face. Just wondering. Moisturized again today." And didn't hear back from them again. Ooh. And then I had like 2 people write, "Hey, this was a great workout. I hope I see more." And I'm like, okay, I'll make another one. So a few months later, I made another one. And then I started getting a little bit more traffic, I guess. And then there is my friend, his name is Millionaire Hoy, and he's awesome. He's on YouTube too. Mm-hmm. And he really encouraged me to just keep on creating. And he's a fitness trainer. He's doing phenomenal. He's just an amazing person. And he really helped me to grow and to have confidence to just put myself out there a little bit more. Yeah. So yeah, I just started creating, and it's interesting because I'm so happy I did it because it was during like my binge eating days too. Mm-hmm. So I remember there are days like before I would record where I had binged the night before, and I'm like, God, I feel so gross. But I had a schedule where I'm like, I have to put a video out on Wednesday at this certain time. Yeah. And I did it anyway, and I filmed anyway. So it's kind of cool to see that evolution of myself, even though like I remember being like, I cried right before I filmed this video. And I was all like, woo. But once you get in your element, you're like, woo, let's work out. And then, so now I still do like fitness videos and stuff, but I also reach on the mental health side of it. Okay. So like I just put out a 30-day challenge where I'll have 6 days of workouts. Some of them are now low impact, and some of them are like movement flow, ground flow. So that way they know like mobility is important too, people.
Super duper.
Please don't just do high impact, because I totally did that when I first started my YouTube channel. It was all like, high impact, this is what people like. I love hurting my joints like all the time. Like, calm it down a little bit. I think it's great to do high impact. I love it, but it's also good to put the mix in. But on the 7th day, I have a mental health video, and that's where I do a lot about like self-love tips and stuff that you can do outside of it, because I found throughout my journey, working on your mental health is so important on your fitness journey. It all goes hand in hand, and you need to work on that. Because if you go so I like to think of, if you want to change your body, make sure it comes from a place of self-criticism rather than self-loathing. Because if you're self-criticizing yourself, you're like, okay, you know what? I can do better. And I'm enough right now, but I know I can get to that next level.
Yeah, why would I want to stay here when I
Yeah.
know I can be better?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And but self-loathing, it's like, no, I hate my body right now, which is most people who come to the gym.
Yeah.
They hate their body, they hate themselves. They're like, I'm gonna feel better and love myself when I'm this certain weight, when I look this certain way, when I'm this certain body fat percentage. People are gonna love me. I'm size 4 dress size. Like, that's great, but you still hate yourself. So make sure you work on, your mental state at the same time.
Yeah,
So,
for sure. Yeah, that's
advice.
that's a pretty important part of the whole everything.
Yeah.
The whole pie.
The whole time.
I love pie.
I haven't had pie in so long.
That's an
I used to
issue.
love some French style pie. We should have a pie podcast.
Oh my God, yes.
Where we have like a bunch of people all hang out, like our favorite guests, and like
gonna
throw them
be
all
pie.
interacting, and then we eat pie.
March 14th.
We should have pie day on pie day and see how many. We should bring some like weird guests all together. Like I bet you our psychic friend would like our fitness friends. And
Yeah?
we'll
Is
see.
that your
We'll
medium
see.
friend?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw that. I was like,
Okay, like the most interesting stuff about her, sorry, like the podcasts are
God.
cool, but happened off the camera, like where like the pressure was off, and then I was able to just be like, so you got any nuggets for me? And the 2 times she gave me nuggets after the show, it was like these profound, like simple statements that she had no context to my life or like the things going on, because I generally keep them pretty private. So the fact that she said the things that she said was like, I feel very vulnerable and like naked in the street right now. Like, holy shit, that's
Yeah.
important. But I feel like I just want to put her around people I like and be like, give them all nuggets.
I want a nugget.
Right?
I love a nugget. In
Well-
Pokemon, I loved nuggets.
Sorry. We're gonna get you nuggets. I thought that was gonna make more sense and be a little bit more seamless, but I fucked up and I pushed Jordan's finger instead of
my
the button,
God.
and then I got off track.
Are we going to
Anyways,
McDonald's?
Ooh. Get some McNuggies.
McNugget.
I like this pie idea. Pie day idea. Thank you for
Yeah.
reminding me that exists.
Pie day podcast.
Yeah, I like
Okay.
that. Where we eat pie and talk about weird
You
stuff.
get a slice of everything.
Ooh.
Maybe we should get like 5 microphones. So we
I
get
like
it.
5 people.
I like it.
That might be crazy.
I mean, we could do like a little round table thing or something.
Might make for difficult viewing.
I mean,
It's okay.
Just a bunch of people yelling at each other.
as long as we all like break it up, like, see, there's 2 people off their mics, like doing a background laugh. There could be one person
Yeah.
talking, and then when another person talks, you just kind of like fade away so they can continue. We could do this right, guys. We could do the sound effects.
The larger
love
the
this
group
idea.
gets, the more difficult it becomes to do that.
That's
Difficulty
perfect.
is fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Challenges.
Okay. I had like 3 other thoughts, and I lost them all as we were wandering through.
Oh yeah, I had one. You do the vegan thing.
Yeah. The vegan thing.
the vegan, that vegan thing.
Yeah, I totally do.
Yeah. The only other person that I've ever actually like known that was vegan was my ex personally, and I'm curious what your approach to it is. Like, is it a moral thing? Is it a health thing? Is it both things? Is
Honestly,
it-
you don't look
you know?
like a vegan. You look way too beefy.
yeah.
Like, I've never seen a female
Like-
vegan that
Like,
looks
just
like
strong.
aside from like crazy like Aubrey Marcus's crew or something like that
Yeah.
mixed in there or something, but
Oh, yay.
fit. I've never seen a vegan this fit in person. I didn't believe it for a second.
I know.
Yeah.
I love being like the fit vegan to show like, hey, you can have plants and be buff.
Yeah.
I get accused of being on steroids so much. It's
Really?
so funny. I get messages from guys, and they're like, "Are you on roids right now?" Like,
What?
even my dad asked me if I was on steroids at one point. I'm like, Dad,
Oh Jesus
You're like-
Christ!
Plant steroids, father.
Dad, you don't even know how much I
Popeye
eat.
eating his spinach.
Didn't you ever watch Popeye? Like, don't you know?
Out there bending metal and shit. Yeah, but okay,
Yeah.
Jordan had a good question. Like, we should go back to that before I distract us.
Jesus Christ!
We knew this was gonna happen.
It's okay. It's good. It's
good.
But for my approach and stuff, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, why?
why? Yeah. So it was kind of weird. Like 2.5 years ago, I was like, I find meat disgusting. It just hit me. It was so weird. I had no intentions of going vegetarian or vegan. And one day I'm like, this is literally like, it makes me want to vomit right now. Like I
Yeah.
can taste like the iron in it. It's disgusting. And so I went vegetarian just for 2 weeks because I'm like, why not? why not? And then after 2 weeks, I'm like, why not just do it all? I'm just gonna go vegan. So I should put in context though. Before I went vegan, I was watching this guy on YouTube called Simnett Nutrition. And I was only watching him because he does calisthenics. And I thought he was super cool. I'm like, this guy is so buff and he does all these body weight movements. And then also on the side, he's vegan. And he does these Q&As where he walks through the forest with his girlfriend, who I'm friends with on Instagram. So cute. I'm like, oh, she's so awesome. And but anyway, they talk about anything, and then they also talk about being vegan, and I'm like, that's cool, whatever. Like, I want to hear the calisthenic stuff. But yeah, and then I went vegetarian, and then I started doing like a little bit more research on being vegan and what it's like. I didn't even watch any of the documentaries because I'm like, I don't want to know. I don't want to know all this stuff. And then my best friend is also vegan, so I'm guessing that influenced me a little bit.
Okay.
And then I went vegan. And then I watched the videos and I'm like, wow, I am staying vegan because it's for the morals and for the environment.
Solidified your Is it like way harder to like cook and prepare? Because it's just an information thing, isn't it? Just knowing the things that you have to.
That's it. It's like people are like, it's so hard, but if you just replace chicken with tofu or chicken with the fake meat, like that's it. That's all you got to do, really. And it's like have a B12 supplement, which everyone should be having anyway, like even if you're not vegan. So. It's not as hard as people think, especially this day and age. Like 20 years ago, totally. It was probably really tough because there wasn't as much information out there. There weren't as many substitutes. And when you go to restaurants, you feel a little bit lonely. But now there's just so many options.
That's true.
It's just, it's so easy. And like realizing like the impact on the animals and the environment. And then like, I like look at my cat Lincoln and I'm like, I wouldn't eat you.
From the conversation we were having earlier where I was like, I want goats. And then like one day if the goat gets sick, instead of just like putting it down and burying it, I can eat it. And I can be like, hey, look, this was my buddy Jack. And now Jack's kebabs.
I'm like, good Lord. I'm like, that escalated so quickly.
To each their own. I think your way is beautiful. I also think eating my pet goat would be a totally acceptable thing in life. As long as the goat was given a good life, I'd be like friends with Jack, like help raise him, I'd feed Jack. And then when Jack got sick, I'd be like, goodbye, Jack. I will use your body for kebabs.
I think it might depend on where you live if it's acceptable or not. But
that is true.
Everything's acceptable until the cops show up.
That's a good way to put it, actually.
Just put it like a spit roast over that fire pit we have. Then it'll just goat. It's dead. It's dead from natural causes.
That was its spirit coming from the fire.
No,
how could you?
I'm like, because you're delicious. Now go to heaven.
Go to heaven.
Go to goat heaven. I don't need you around here anymore seeing what I'm going to do to your body. It's disturbing.
I'm going to start saying that to people. I'll be like, you know what? Screw you. Go to heaven.
It's not that I want bad things for you. It's just that I just never want to have to deal with you again.
Yep.
Go piss off to the best place ever. That's actually a great thing. Like, fuck off to hell. No. Fuck off to heaven.
That's
Thank
great.
you.
It's
Thank
so
you for
nice.
expanding my insulting vernacular.
No, absolutely.
there's been so many moments that you guys just go on a tangent about something fucking hilarious. It's great. I like
good.
it.
See, I knew
like
we
it.
weren't gonna have any trouble like having a conversation. When he came out this morning, he was like, "Did you write a list? Could you write a list of like questions?" I'm like, "Bitch, I got stuff to say today. I don't need no list." Although, it'd probably be way more professional if we like did a list.
No, it's okay.
Okay,
This is way more
I'm gonna
fun.
come up with a question now.
Yeah, go for it. Right off the top of your head. Just bam.
My favorite color is pink.
I was just gonna ask, like,
I know.
if you were a dragon, what colors would you be?
Oh, I would be, like pearlescent.
Yeah.
I'd be like the rainbow thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
not sparkly, pearlescent.
Yeah.
So much better. So much better.
Oh, yeah, I've
fucking
thought
like
about
that.
the rainbow.
Yeah, because sparkles are like, it's the sparkles. But when it's like
Yeah.
incandescent, like, ooh, luminous.
Yeah, that's what color
like-
my hula hoop is.
They're like
Nice.
they're like melted sparkles.
Like melted sparkles. See, that's pretty cool. Melted sparkles. That's like you took sparkles and then you forged it into a weapon. in.
Yeah, that's literally what I say though at the end of our workouts. I'll
Yeah.
be like, I'll go like this, and I'll be like, sparkle, sparkle, sparkle. And so now it's one of our sayings. Like people
I
are
really
like,
like that.
Thanks for all the sparkles today.
Thanks for all the sparkles today.
Oh yeah, that is something I do at the end of my workouts too. Is that I have a mini meditation now at the end of my workouts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I used to do it where it's just like, okay, see you later, guys. Good luck in life. And now I take this moment of like peace, and I'm like, and I take them through like a gratitude kind of meditation or.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah.
So obviously you've done a whole bunch of stuff for the like fitness jazz and getting your diet right and like helping other people. And now that you mentioned like the meditation stuff, how much of your practices are like interwoven with spirituality and stuff like that? And when did that like, was it always present or did it come in at a certain point?
Oh God, it was not always present.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
needed
mine neither.
that. Yeah.
Ours neither. It comes
God, I
through
needed that.
trauma and suffering, which is a bitch.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it came probably like 2 years ago or something. I started journaling a lot more, getting back to that. I filled so many journals. And then doing just like research on YouTube about like spirituality and stuff. And there's this guy I watch called Infinite Waters. And he talks
We
all
love
about-
that guy.
Yes, real smart.
He's friends with Teal.
I love Teal.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Oh my God,
Teal friend.
So funny because Justin recommended the book, the
Completion
process.
And I'm like, oh, who's it by? He's like, oh, it's about this girl. And then he like explains some of her trauma. He's like, her name is Teal. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, I've been watching her for years.
Yes.
Like,
We
I
have to.
love
Us too.
her. Oh God, she's like the spiritual Xena.
Yes.
That's what I think of her
That is an
as.
excellent comparison.
She's just got
Yeah.
these like piercing eyes where she like reaches into your soul. And then like I imagine I'm like every spiritual teacher has like kind of this weird awkward laugh and like because I think of like Eckhart Tolle and then Infinite Waters and then also Teal and they all go like you're like you are on another level where you find this hilarious and I need
Yeah.
to get there.
Yeah. Alan
Yeah.
Watts does the same sort of laugh.
Yes.
It's like he's like laughing at how silly humans are. It's just like we're so ridiculous,
Like you pathetic humans.
but in like the most loving and condescending
In all,
way.
Yes.
in all of your suffering.
In all of your suffering,
You know that it's just going to be okay.
and even if it's not okay, it all ends up being okay. It's like fuck.
Just
We-
stay present.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Thanks for the advice.
We actually we got the opportunity to do we went and paid for some sessions with some of Teal Swan's teacher people,
Completion process
people.
Therapists or whatever.
That if you ever are feeling like I need to do some shadow work, I highly recommend you find one of her representatives that you really vibe with. They do like you can pick through like dozens of them, and then just go for it and see where you end up. Because ours were fucking crazy. Like to sum mine up, I ended up going through like a really dark forest as like adult Grant and like picking up child versions of myself of all different ages and like bringing them back to a safe place that I created in my mind that was actually a hollowed out volcano. Super dope. Side note.
more dope.
Yeah. And like the trauma that you experienced all throughout your life is like accessible in like a mind space that you can physically move around in, which is so fucking bizarre to experience once you're actually doing it. Cause I don't have like lucid dreams or anything, but the meditation they lead you into and then the space that they guide you into, and suddenly you're like, it's not like you're even thinking, it's just happening. You end up going through these spaces and doing these things, and you want to be like, I'm fucking crazy, but evidently that's what you paid for. Yeah. And it does seem to help.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh God, that sounds amazing. Is it like online or in person?
It's over the phone, online, over the phone, and then like video. Because
Okay.
when you actually do the session, it's like the person needs to like see you and like, I don't know what they're doing, but they need to like see you so that they can like read what's happening off of you. It's a really, really shanty and weird experience, but I highly recommend it to everybody who's touched shadow work before.
God, I'm so down.
Yeah,
Yes.
the inner
Yeah.
child work stuff. When I went through it, I cried so much.
Oh my God, it was just constant crying.
I cried so much. It was just like going back like with a fine tooth comb through your entire life and realizing all of the times you just felt desperately terrible and alone.
And then being the version
Yeah.
of the person you needed at that time, being that person for yourself, like 6-year-old Grant's like, I need you. And like no one's there. So I just roll in there and I'm like, what's up? I'm you from the future. And for some reason it fucking works. Like, and that little being is like, oh yeah, this is legit. Like I didn't need my parents or my siblings. I just needed an adult version of Grant. Look at him. For some reason he's wearing a cloak like a Jedi. This is legit. This is like the best version for 6-year-old Grant.
Oh my god.
See, it sounds ridiculous, but it's low-key amazing.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's nuts because you don't realize how much the past affects like your adult life. Like even when you were a kid, like going through multiple different types of therapy and stuff now, I'm realizing so many things from my past that are like, whoa, that was really, really messed up for me to go through when I was a little kid. And I didn't even know that stuff was still hanging out in my head. Like I had a very difficult time. I guess when I was younger, I had a very difficult time as a kid. Like I was had so many problems in school and in like a lot of things, but realizing that it was due to my environment and the way that I grew up and the persons that I grew up around.
Yeah.
Have really left like a massive standing impact on the way that I interface with people in my adult life now. And doing the shadow work, like it doesn't fix everything like when you do it. It takes like a long time of processing and integrating everything and probably going through more than I think I did 2 or 3 sessions. But I know I still have a lot more to do. But you at least begin to have access to understanding why you feel what you feel now in the moment.
It's
you at least start to have access on it.
We're kind of going on a tangent here, but since we found out you're into teal, like we have to tell you our experience because it was fucking bonkers. Yeah. But it's almost like, oh my god, my brain just left. What was the last thing you just said? I know.
Get it back. Get your brain back.
What was the last thing you said?
I don't remember.
Damn it. Okay, we were talking about the teal stuff, and we were completion process. It was like,
that you can at least start to see the messed up things that happen.
So it's like before you do the shadow work, you know that something's wrong, but it's like you just don't get access to it. And for some reason, you're just looking all over the place and you're like, I can't even find where to fucking start unraveling this problem. It's like the shadow work allows you to find that spot, bring it back from where it originally died. Like I had a version that like died when I was like 8 or something like that. And once I brought it back, it's like it reassimilates. And it's not like it starts at the level that you're at now with all your other stuff. It starts at the level that it died at. So it's like I didn't even understand what was wrong and what was missing. And now I have like level 1 basic understanding reintegrated. Now I have to start working that thing back up until it's like a functional thing again.
God, it's like a video game.
Yeah. I've been playing a lot of video games lately, so excuse my examples. They're a little bit pew pew.
No, that's how it makes sense in my brain. So
great, excellent.
I get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, but that's exciting that you're about to, because last session that I had with Justin, he told me that he was listening to the audiobook.
Yeah.
That he was listening to the completion process. I was like, no way.
Yeah, and then I just
Like,
I
wow.
ordered the book because I'm more of
Okay.
a reader rather than the listening.
Yeah, I'm more of the listening type. So, I mean, that's why I do podcasts. and I don't write. But yeah, no, that's awesome. And like all of the people that you mentioned are all people that, Infinite Waters and Alan Watts and all those people.
It's not like Alan Watts is a huge one, but it's so strange how this shit happens because like what are the chances that Jordan happens to meet it's Justin, right?
Yeah, it's Justin.
Okay. I keep forgetting names and I always get so embarrassed. But what are the chances that Jordan meets Justin? Justin just happens to be touching on these like spiritual stuff and doing all of his stuff. And it's like, oh, wow, that matches ours. Weird because none of our teachers are like multiple millions of people following them. It's always like under the millions, which means there's relatively few of us who are out there in the world at all.
Yeah.
And then suddenly it's like, you who've been following Teal Swan for years, there's so few of us.
Yeah.
When you think about how much work Teal has put out there, it's like a decade worth of shit, and all of it's been like consistently amazing spiritual work. And she gets what, like 50, 60K, maybe 100K on certain ones that are like special words. But it's crazy how we end up finding each other when you think about how many people are in the world and like in between all of us meeting. Like, how the fuck did we all find each other? Why are we all doing the same stuff? I think there's a universal spirit thing happening here. There's some weird shanti.
Yeah,
sparkle.
totally. One of us manifested meeting each other.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was a manifesting party, man.
Are you guys big on manifestation?
I am huge on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jordan's been making fun of me because I put on affirmations. And it's not even like
I wake up every morning and he's got the laptop out and it's just like, I am attracting abundance.
Oh yeah.
Okay,
yes,
so
yes.
I'm doing other stuff. This
Like,
is
okay.
This is one of my leverages for.
He's like eating a donut, and you're like, well,
I am
kinda.
fit and healthy. No, it's like okay. I found that in my mornings, regardless of what I do, like every time I wake up in the morning, something's hard. Like it's just like everything's hard, and I don't even give myself. I don't touch my phone. I don't check anything. I don't think about anything. It's like I wake up and it's like what the fuck.
Yes.
So I just keep my mind blank until I can like start the coffee. I put on the abundance or like the manifestation or just the like positive thoughts or like calming music, something to keep like a background noise. So like when I'm not thinking, it's filled with something positive. And it
Yeah.
seems to have been working. And now it's been working for a couple weeks. So I refuse to stop.
Yeah. God, I feel that so much though. I wake up the same way where I feel like there's just this like heavy weight like always
Yes.
sitting on my head.
Yes.
And I'm like,
It's like you have to fight it one way or
Yes,
another.
you do.
Like every morning you have to lift your fucking heroic
Yeah.
burden and be
Yeah.
like, you bitch, you're not going to get me today.
nothing's wrong.
I've been going through that for forever, for a long time, for at least a year.
Yeah.
At least a year. Like where every single morning that I wake up, like I just feel like I was hit by a train.
Yes. Yeah.
Like it's just like I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can function.
Yeah.
And I'm just a complete asshole like in the morning when I wake up. It's just like I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know.
No, but what I've been trying to do is just like doing like the morning meditation stuff for positivity. I do like a guided one.
You're so much more disciplined than
Oh,
us.
really?
Yeah, like you're fucking killing it. You're a little bit of a hero for us right now
thank
because
you.
the systems that you have put in place for yourself are so like obviously self
Aware?
benefiting. I lost a word. There was a really good word, but I'm not smart enough to remember that.
No, don't identify with
Oh
that.
yes, just having a moment
There you
of
go.
not
It's just
smart.
a moment.
they come and go. Sometimes I have moments of absolute genius.
There you go.
They're very fleeting. But yeah, we're very jealous of your discipline. I'd say because the ability. You don't give me that
Inspired.
questioning
More
look.
inspired. Yeah.
Whatever. I can be jealous and inspired. I can
Turning
be
green.
jealously inspired because certain levels of that just seem unreachable. And maybe I just haven't developed the framework to do it. But like if I could wake up and go straight into a meditation before coffee, before anything, I feel like I would become a superhuman pretty quick.
Oh no, I have coffee first.
Oh, okay. See, all right. See, now
have
it's
my-
less ridiculous. Now you're just the normal person
Yeah,
again.
now I'm normal. I like.
She has her coffee first.
No, I have coffee and then I journal while I do that.
See,
And then, yeah.
and that's what the framework stuff is about because we talked about it with Justin. Like I thought I could reach my dreams if I had the willingness to create all the framework so that I could end up reaching my dreams. And I think that's the same thing. I just don't have the framework to lead myself into that meditation. Like I've never done it, so how would I do it? And the attempt to do it seems ridiculous and difficult.
Yeah.
But if I have the framework of like, drink my coffee, don't do anything except write in a journal, and then see if you have the mental fortitude to go into a meditation space.
Yeah.
It's like I just want to like take successful people and steal all your shit.
You can steal
so I
my
can apply it
shit.
to me.
Yeah, I don't need my
that's
shit.
what I was just.
I'll give you my shit.
That was what I was just gonna say. That's like, but anytime that I'm running into issues in my life, like things happening that I really dislike, I always go to people who have figured it out already, and I'm like, how did you do it? Because I need some of your shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need some of your shit.
But then when you listen to, if they have like an interview and stuff, they're like, I don't have my shit together. It just looks like I have my shit together. And like, that's the thing. Like we all go through like seasons of being like on it and productive and being able to do stuff. And then we go through seasons of needing a little bit more rest and not doing so well and having that weight on our heads and stuff. So it really is just creating like a little bit each time and not having expectations of yourself. If I need to have like a 10-minute meditation, it's like, well, maybe you just need to sit down and listen to a song like fully and close your eyes and really absorb the lyrics and the music and everything that's going on. You know,
just use that as as your meditative practice.
Yeah,
it's so weird that like whenever folks are talking about meditation or spirituality or like getting better through like some really hard shit, there's always this underlying element of just like being aware, which, you know, is being conscious, which is our connection and conversations about like, consciousness. Like everything is consciousness. And then people are like, oh yeah, blah, 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 blah. But when you think about it, I love those people. Everybody's
those
problems.
Blah, 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 blah people.
Well, yeah. Okay. So I'm talking
people.
about people that like did the physical and they're fucking killing it from our perspective. Like they've got lots of money, they work really hard, there are lots of recognition, and when someone brings something spiritual up to them, they're like, yeah, go get some crystals and some sage and that kind of shit. And it's like,
the people who poo-poo on everything.
Yeah. And like people who don't understand, like consciousness is the next dimension in one fashion or another. But it's like that you have to unconsciously reject that everything that goes wrong with humans is fixed by awareness and consciousness to the problem. And it's like, okay, that's factual, because when you think about like drug addiction or something like that, when people are treated like villains or criminals or something, they don't get better. When they're treated like real humans and people are like putting their attention to them, giving them like consciousness, and they're able to get conscious of what they're doing and all that stuff, they get better. Yeah. And it's like, so all the problems are resolved by consciousness, but to some folks, consciousness is just like a hokey thing. And it's like this weird disconnect where society is running in this way and spirituality is running in this way, and they just need a fucking like bridge at some point. We need magic. We need science to become magic.
We just need magic.
We just need some special magic. Let's all get pretty rocks and like feathers, and let's chant in a circle.
I think it's the whole pendulum effect, though. It's where everything seems like super extreme to people who don't know like a certain subject. So like spirituality, to some people are like, that's really extreme, that's a little bit too much. But after a while, the pendulum's going to swing the other way, and eventually it evens out in the middle. Yeah. So I think that's what we need right now. We're going to the extreme where people are like, you just have mushrooms and have crystals.
Well,
white sage.
You may be right.
You drop
also
you drop acid at music festivals.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, but you're missing out. Like
that's not the point, man.
We drop acid at music festivals, and then we have a spiritual experience. Like,
just want to put on the low. I have not had acid.
you gotta trust me, man. Yeah. You wandering around a bunch of hippies, you understand the universe.
Yep. But I think as we make it more available, it's like vegan food. If you make it more available to the masses and you give it to people in ways that they can accept, because like some people for like vegan food or something, they want like the fake burgers and stuff because that's what they're used to. And
that's
stuff.
An excellent point.
It's kind of like for like spirituality, it's the same thing. It's like what are they ready for at the time? I'm like, yeah.
Wow, you're so wise.
Oh, thanks.
that was an excellent nugget you dropped right there. I should stop saying nugget and drop in connection to each other because it sounds like someone's pooping.
I don't mind that.
Just pooping out mystical nuggets, yo. What's up?
You're talking to a unicorn, so I mean, like, unicorn poop.
I saw that. Unicorn. I like it. But that's such a good point because, like, if I try giving like someone like my father, a very like stoic, very physically focused person, like crystals or something, they're like pretty rocks. He appreciates pretty rocks. But when he like travels to a certain place and the monks there talk to him about certain stuff, suddenly he's like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yes.
This makes perfect sense. It's something I could never give him, but that I understood. But he had to go someplace else to get the understanding like translated for him.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody needs to find, or I guess maybe they're all guided to at the right moment, their bridge to the spiritual that makes sense, that allows them to start looking at all the stuff.
Yeah. And usually that's a product of pain in some aspects, and also like a desire to, learn, or curiosity. Something will happen in your life that makes you question your reality in some way. And then as soon as you hit that point where you become curious, you're like what, like there's something more going on that I don't understand. There's something here or in here or out there, wherever it is, that I'm starting to realize that I know so little. I know so little about myself and other people and like the universe at large and how everything functions, that you start to become curious. And that's the first step.
Yeah, and that person has to
Curiosity.
come to the decision themselves.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with like fitness and stuff. They have to make the decision for themselves. So like I'm a behavior change specialist. I'm like certified in it. And one of the things is you want to ask them questions so they come to their own conclusion about it. Because if you're like, well, you should do this, then they probably are not going to do it. But if you ask them questions that directs them towards making that decision themselves, then they're more likely to stick to it.
Yeah, see, and that's a problem that I have when I'm like if people in my life are having issues, and if I'm trying to help in some way, I don't have that tactful direction. A lot of times I'm like, oh well, hey, this is the thing. This is the thing that I did. That I worked.
Yeah.
And then you always get this resistance, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah. I dropped. Yes. Yeah.
I'm not doing this right.
I didn't do the thing right, and you didn't hear me. Yeah.
Now I'm just being an asshole.
It's like I can hear how I sound. But if you're not hearing it, I'd better just not talk.
Or you're like mid-sentence, you're like, I don't want to continue my sentence.
I'm just gonna stop.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all have the capacity to be assholes.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do indeed.
But it is like human nature to be like, well, this is what I did, because
Yeah.
you want to help them out.
Yeah, and we only have our perspective, our experience, our consciousness. So it's like, these are the things that worked for me.
Yeah.
Sorry if they don't work for you.
Yeah.
Yep. Or telling them like, you should do this, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But as we were talking about, some things work for certain people depending on where they are and stuff. It's the same thing as like when you listen to a person that like an inspirational person. Some people relate to the people that are like shouting or like, you're gonna be great. And I'm like, oh my God, it's 8 a.m. and I don't want to be shouted at right now. But then there's like Teal Swan that's like, and then you have to go through your spiritual work and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah.
Whisper
You're
sweet
right.
spiritual
Yeah.
nothings to me, Teal.
With your like psychedelic background in your like green screen. I love that.
Yeah, she's rad. I'm so glad that
love
you love Teal. That's fucking rad.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's interesting that the people who are like on a specific path, like on a specific growth path, like have so many similar connections. And it's like there's something there,
I feel like there's all these weird little threads that we just can't perceive, but sometimes you land on them and you're like, weird that we're both on this fucking thread. Like, how did you fucking find this thread? I don't know how I found this thread, but now we're all just walking on this thing. And we don't see anybody else for like miles around on this. This is fucking weird.
Yeah, but it's awesome because it's such a connection. Because one of my clients, she's totally into spirituality, and she's just fantastic. She has her own like spiritual guide and everything, and
Like in spirit form or in real form?
in real form.
Real form.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
and she's like a witch and everything too. And I'm like, oh, this is
Okay.
amazing.
I love witchy people.
I know. So I got like really jazzed about it, but just being able to like talk to her about these things and her understanding and you not feeling like you're crazy is just fantastic. And like she knows Teal, and her mom is friends with Teal on Facebook, and I'm like, wow, it's official. Hello.
Wow.
I know. So it's just so cool. It's like a whole nother level of like friendship kind of thing and just connection and stuff. So it's just really nice.
Right, definitely. Well, hey, we're hitting the 1 hour mark here.
We did
it.
We're at 58 minutes. We did do it. It was a hell of a ride and it was fun.
If we have a pie day, I'm probably going to bring you back.
Yeah.
So we'll all do a nice workout and then we'll have pie day.
I'm down.
Yeah.
Yes.
where can people find your stuff?
Yes, do all the plugs.
Oh, my plugs. Okay, so you can find me at Kat Musni Fitness on Instagram. So Kat, K-A-T, and then Musni, M-U-S-N-I, Fitness. And also on my YouTube channel, it's the same thing. And
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for being here.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was
Thank you so much for
awesome.
having
This
me.
was super fun.
We'll do more stuff. You
Yeah.
were a delight to have, and we vibe.
Oh,
Good stuff.
Turkey.
Turkey.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
turkey. Hi, I got you.
Fantastic.
I got
Turkeys.
you both.
But we will see y'all in the next video.
Yeah.
Turkey.
Peace.